Hello everyone, I'm Angela and I will present to you the OWEC project Fisheries Sensitivity Mapping and Displacement, FiSMaDiM. This project has a goal to improve the methods to identify fishing activity at high spatial resolution, but also to assess the constraint and opportunity for the fishing industry, which means we are trying to do sensitivity mapping and also include displacement modeling. This idea is to provide maps at the end of the day, which provides evidence for the energy security strategy, but also 25 years environmental plan, Fisheries Act, and others. The project is a 2-year project, which is more or less nearly done this summer. We are reaching the end of the project. Any further information on the project can be found on the web page of the project. The project is led by Cefas, but are supported by University of St Andrews and the Scottish Government. We have in our project advisory group members of the industry, but also members from the policy side of things. So hopefully a nice representation. This work as a project per se has 3 work packages, apart from work package 1, which is project management 1. Work package 2 is looking into fishing location and to try to find new method on fishing location. Work package 3 is sensitivity mapping and displacement. And work package 4 is trying to create a web tour for all of them. I will focus here on more practical ones, work package 2 and work package 3. As mentioned, work package 2 is looking more into the spatial distribution of fishing activity. In the first part, we did a review of the existing data method and tools. This is now published and can be found under this web link. We are also trying to find methods to improve the spatial representation of fishing activity. For this, we kind of looked into the data, and after the review, we figured out that the best way forward is to try to merge AIS data with VMS data. However, VMS data is only obligatory for vessels over 12 meters. So not every vessel which records fishing activity in the MMO fishing database has a VMS. Moreover, AIS data is actually from the Coast Guard and it's more on health and safety requirement. So there's a device. This means that the AIS data and the VMS data doesn't share any kind of common identifier. The device of the AIS data can be moved between vessels, and therefore it's not easy to match them. We tried to match them and we could find above 50% of the VMS vessels have also AIS data. However, only a small proportion of the MMO, of the active vessels in the UK said, registered with MMO, have a VMS. So we have a small proportion of more fishing activity, which we could successfully integrate. As we would expect for some, if you're looking into the details, for some vessels, for some trips, adding AIS data, because it causes much more higher frequency, these signals are sent, we're adding more information. So in this respect, it's great. However, we also see sometimes that actually it's the other way around, that VMS data, also there we only get every 2 hours information about the position of the vessel, while AIS is much more high frequency. Somehow the data is not there, the signals are not there. However, if we aggregate them all together, we can see that even with adding AIS data to the VMS data, we get much higher spatial resolution. From this aspect is what we are expecting, what we are hoping for. So this is an example for a static deer. We can do another example here as well for the pelagic trawl. And also here we see that we get much more information, much more detailed information on the fishing location, where the vessels were active. So after kind of improving the methods for at least a small part of the fishing fleet, we are now trying to get these maps into kind of constraint and opportunity maps. This is work package 3. Work package 3 is trying to identify insensitivity areas, so area of low or high conflict between fisheries and offshore wind farm, but also to include displacement. So we also have 4 case studies, displacement modeling upcoming, and then this all will be put together in an economic impact assessment for fishing. At the moment, the sensitivity mapping is a part which are in progress, which I will show you in a minute. So sensitivity assessment of fishing activities is rather, everyone understands something different about what is sensitivity. And to be sure that we, at least in the project, have a similar understanding or consensus on the understanding, we asked the member of the project advisory group to give us some keywords what for them is sensitivity mapping. These keywords were then put into or analyzed by us, and then we saw that mostly economic dependency and vulnerability is the main keywords, main kind of topic, which always came out there as a high of importance for the project advisory group. Based on this, we tried then to find indicators who kind of measure or kind of measure these kind of terminology. Our indicators are mainly around business impacts, business concentration, but also something about irreplaceability of the area. So this is, for example, an example of the different indicators we are using. As baseline, we have landing values, and what we want to see is how much the kind of assessment of the area changes as soon as we're using a different indicator. And what we see here is, for example, landing values. We see some core areas of landing values where there's high landing values. However, as soon as we say if there's only a specific number of vessels or a high number of vessels with a significant amount of the annual revenues generated in the area, we see that much less areas become then significant or of high importance. And then we try to see if there's, for example, in this case, an indicator 1B, if there is a high value. So there's just a small amount of vessels with a high value of activity in it, then we would say that's a sensitive area. Similar to business concentration, if we can do something similar. Again, we have baseline the landing values, and we want to see how much it changed as soon as we use a different indicator. And here we're looking how many vessels are actually sharing the landing values in this area. And we see that also there is some areas here which have high landing values. It's also lots of vessels. So as soon as we control for it, for the number of vessels, then we see that actually it's of lower significance in this area, at least in this indicator. This change with indicator, each indicator captures something differently, something various. So we're ending up with about 12 different indicators, which are trying to capture different aspects of sensitivity. And we have 9 year groups, and we are using data from at minimum 5 years, but actually 10 years. So we need to summarize it into a practical solution that we can actually use it for a policy for advice. This is what we are working on currently. And everything of these ones will be then, all these maps we are generating will be available later on in the web tool, which is upcoming. But just that you have an idea, the web tool will look similar to what people may have seen on the Marine Scotland side already, an MPI, but also Cefas has a geofish side. So the idea is that we actually, yes, we're generating a web tool, but these web tool will be later generated in other web tools which can be publicly seen and so for publicly available for everyone. Thanks for your attention, and if you have any further questions, I'm pretty sure the project team would like to answer them. Thank you.